Morning. Hey, you ever drop your screwdriver under your bench and you reach under and you hear this like a baby sound rattle thing, you know, going on? It's like, what the? Oh, huh. That's that gum I was looking for. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to do some solar today, but wanted to talk about the virtual size and the amount of power from like folding. In this case, these are foldable, like this one right here is a good example of a folding solar panel. This one's only 100 watt, and it's from All Powers, as a matter of fact. But it's a nice panel with really good Velcro. But you can see the size of it right there. There's 100 watts. So if you could get this in the windshield of your car, that was part of the question. Could you produce like 150 watts? And I guess if you could get two of these in your windshield, you probably could. Now, I've got a fairly small SUV, so the windshield is not very big. But what I was going to do was take a look at the size of solar panels, and that sort of determines how much power, obviously, you're going to get out of them. It just, you know, it's a lot. It's kind of like right now with solar panels and the efficiency, it's a lot of physics. You know, it's like you want more power, you're going to need bigger panels, you know, per section. And I've looked at hard panels, and I really like the hard panels over these, but these are not very efficient. That's the biggest problem with them. And not just like this is All Powers. They're, you know, as good as anybody's out there. We did have some from, I've got a pair here from Vevor that's a 200 watt system, but it's going to take way more than the windshield of your car to lay that thing out, because it's really big. But I thought I would just look at the size, and I got a tape measure here. And this panel here, for example, and it's like only 100 watt, is 25 inches, and it measures this way, about almost 40 inches. So I'll measure up a windshield on a car, and we'll just kind of compare the size, because physically, that's what's going to determine how many panels you can put. Obviously, a larger SUV, you could maybe get, you know, more of the panel in there. I'll show you another 100 watter. Here's a soft pack, and this is a 100 watt panel as well, and you'll notice it's almost exactly the same size, and it's also got a lot of sawdust on it from me cutting wood around here. That happens, yeah. The idea that I'm trying to express is that in order to have, like, say you wanted 400 watts, you'd have to have 4 times the size of this panel, and physically that's what we're locked. That's part of the problem with solar right now. It would be nice if you could get more power from a smaller amount of space, and I know they're working on all that, but the efficiency and how much power you can get with the sun beating on these things, that's, you know, it's just, it comes down to, I guess we'll have to use that nasty old saying, it is what it is, you know. I've seen some 500 watt panels, but they are huge, you know, hard panels, and they are really large. They physically, they are just bigger, you know. And the more wattage you want, the bigger that panel is going to have to be. But let's bring in the 200 watt from, let's see, put these up and bring the 200 watt in from Vevor, because that will reach, or at least will get to what we want today for power. And I'll just show you that. Here's another example of what I'm talking about. This is a 200 watt from Vevor, but you'll notice something that with these folding panels that they all pretty much characteristically have. And in this case, it's 200 watt. Well, each of these, this is 50 watt. That's 50 watt. I'll flip it over here. There's the other 50, there's the other 50. And you can see this thing would take more than a windshield, you know, to spread it out in order to get enough sunlight to make the whole 200 watts work. And as I've said in the past, efficiency, angle to the sun, weather conditions, you're not ever probably going to ever see 200 watts out of these panels. Now, we tested different brand names, and the reason I'm picking this one is because this one gave me the most. You know, it was, I think that it's somewhere clocked out around 180 watts, which was like, wow, yeah, that's incredible. And that was under like a summer, perfect conditions. The sun was nicely angled, directly hitting the panels beautifully. They were getting really hot because they were out in that sun. And this was really this is actually really surprising because Vevor sells, it's more of a online company that sells everything from tools and agriculture and restaurant equipment, pizza ovens, you know, you name it. And they have a lot of cool stuff. In fact, we've got a lot of cool stuff coming in from Vevor in the next, well, in the next few weeks, I guess. But in the meantime, I wanted to show you their panel because, like I say, it is actually, and it's a joke here with me, but it is the most efficient 200 watt foldable panel that I found coming in. The other ones were all fails. They were all, you know, 100, 125, you know, in that area, and they were said to be 200 watt panels. So this one here, when it hit 180, it was like, you know, it just became, I just couldn't stop laughing, thinking, this is from Vevor. They're not a solar company, you know, why is their panel so efficient? But it's size, you know. If I lay this thing out, let's see if we could do something here. Each of these panels, let's measure this one, that would be the easiest. This panel is 21 inches by about 21 and a half inches, and that's a 50 watt panel basically. And because they're internally wired in series, you've got 200 watts. The other problem that people run into, and this is where things really fall apart really quickly, is the voltage. And it's something that I guess maybe we need to do a whole show about panels with various voltages. We've got thunderstorms and cloud cover today, so we're going to have a problem with that. We do have the sun popping out in different places, so hopefully we'll get some nice blue sky and I can run this out there, outside on the car or something, and we can do this. This one here, for example, I think it's about 30 volts, something like that. So you're not going to tie this directly to the battery on your car or something. It would not be a good idea, because you really need a voltage controller system to work with a panel like this. And that's where you get into something as cheap as this thing from Amazon. It was like, I think it was $9 or something, but it does work. And in fact, this one here actually isn't good. Yeah, this one here isn't even good enough, I don't think, for these panels, because I think this one's only, I think it's 12 and 24 volt is the maximum it can handle coming in. And so when you look at a voltage controller system, one of the things you're going to want to worry about, or you need to consider, is the voltage coming in and how much it can handle. And I'm looking at the rating here, and okay, I'm going to say correction on that. Yes, I think we can. Panel voltage up to 50 volts. So yeah, this could work with this Vevor. I was thinking it wouldn't be able to, but and then the battery side of it, you can run 12 or 24 volts. So this is actually, as cheap as it is, it's actually not a bad little controller if you're doing a small scale, you know, something relatively small. So that would work for you. In fact, I will put a link in the description below where you can find the Vevor, this particular 200 watt panel, if you can. They were sold out for a while. I don't know if they're back on or not. I'm really hoping Vevor continues this trend, and also maybe even offers it would be nice to see them offer a 400 watt down the road or something, because this panel was just so much better than any other foldable panel I have. It was just absolutely shocking, and it's well made. I really like it. It's, you know, it has adjustable angles, so you can angle it to the sun. So that was quite a thing. Now let me give you the full dimension on this when it's laid out. Let's see if we can't. I'm going to have to take this out to the driveway or something to lay it all out. Yeah, it takes up that much space. But the fellow that asked the question, I think what he was after was about 150 watts solar. The problem that he doesn't necessarily see himself going into is he would need a voltage controller, because chances are you're going to be dealing with about 30 volts with that panel, maybe higher. That soft flexible one I just showed you, that's a 30 volt panel. It might even be 40. I think it's a 40 volt. And the higher the voltage in solar is good. I like the higher voltages, really do. But the panels themselves, if you go by, like, I think Harbor Freight has a 100 watt panel, it's 12 volt, that's fine, okay. Theoretically, yeah, maybe you could tie that to a car battery directly without a controller. Not recommended, but you know, maybe. Or run 12 volt things off directly from the panel. Again, not recommended, not a good idea. You should have a battery or something in there to help cushion the surge and what have you. But that's Harbor Freight, you know, and I guess two of those panels would be too big, again, to fit into, say, a windshield in a car. So I'm not sure what he was after. I don't know if he was trying to run something or experiment or just charge the battery on the car, something like that, or maybe an RV. An RV has a very large windshield, or can, you know, have some big windshields. So something like this would be cool, but it won't fit. It's just too long. It's wider than the vehicle is going to be, and there's no simple, easy way. Now, the other question that he did ask, and I thought it was an interesting question, was how much voltage would you get if you didn't completely open the whole thing up? So I thought we'll put this out in the sun and we'll just measure, and we'll see what we get when it's not fully open. While we're out in the driveway now, I've got a air conditioner, a little portable job running off of VDL. The VDL was 100% fully charged, so obviously it's not going to take anything in from our Vevor 200 watt panels, so that's not going to work. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and put a load on this thing. I'm going to run it down a little bit until it needs a good charge, and then that way we can measure the wattage coming in from the panels when the sun shines. Right now it's not looking too good because yeah, we're supposed to have rain this afternoon. It looks like cloud cover's coming in, so oh yeah, perfect day to do this kind of a video. But we'll try to get a wattage reading at least, and then we'll fold the panel and see how much of a drop there is, which I think is going to be just about from you know, from whatever it is to probably close to zero. Yeah, let's find out. Okay, there we go. We've got it down to 95% full, and right now coming in we can see that there's, let's see if I can get that nicely red there. There you go. About 39 watts. It's totally cloudy and skies are covered, but now what I'm going to do is I'll fold the panel, fold it up. Let's just take one fold on one end here, and we'll just close that up like that, so we only have two panels exposed. So theoretically that should be about half, but let's see what it actually is on the VDL. And let's see, where are we here? And there you go. Yeah, it's 11 12 watts or whatever. Yeah, there's going to be virtually no power coming in if you fold, and that was kind of like addressing part of the question that the fella had at the time. And I realized, you know, the minute you fold these things, yeah, you're just gonna drop right off. Well, here's the average SUV, and what I'm going to do is just measure across the across the windshield here on the outside, just to get an idea. But it's about 50, roughly we could get a panel inside about 52 inches wide, roughly. It would be a bit of a stretch. Height-wise, wiping the mirror off even, you might get 24 inches, something like that, roughly. So that's about, you know, that's about what you're going to get. So you're really not, you just don't have the physical size to, you know, really put a lot of power in that windshield. Yeah, happy Halloween. Oh man, this is not going to be a Halloween show, okay? You're not going to see you're not going to see blood. Okay. Wow, we're back inside now. It's just about raining. It's thundering and all the rest of it out there. So like I said, it's a lousy day, but you can figure with the panel folded half up, we lost almost, what, 75% of our charge roughly. Yeah, it was down that low. Now there was still wattage, of course. There was still some power, you know, coming off that folded panel, which again surprised me. I was thinking it might be zero, but it wasn't. It was around that 12, 13 watts was all it was coming in, but it was also only at full extension, it was only 40 watts because it's just overcast here today. The next thing we should do is probably go by square inch and see. Now I measured the windshield in my car, for example, and you could get the 21 inches this way on a, say, folded panel, but you're only at 55 inches the other way. So like a 100 watt panel would fit up in there, but that's it. That would be all you could get. To get 150, I don't even know if it's possible. Now, if you built a custom panel that just fit a windshield of a car or truck, pickup truck specifically maybe, or an RV, if you had a big motorhome and you had the huge windshields out the front, you could probably get, you might be able to push it and maybe get the whole 200 watts up in there somehow, but you'd have to jury rig that thing somehow. In fact, one way would be to maybe get two panels and, you know, wire them in series or something and have both of them in that windshield if you've got the space. I'm just thinking the like the Harbor Freight hard panels, two of those up in there maybe, you know, you're really pushing your luck with it all. But the square inch per watt, we don't have that, so let's do a calculation on that and just see what the you know, what the square inch would be. or the size, because like I said, I just showed you this size. This is 50 watt each. This is so typical. It's the same size for the 200 watt. The only difference is you have 4 of these panels at 50 watts each instead of just 2. There's really not much going on here. Like I said, it's the laws of physics kind of kick in and say this is how much space you have to work with, this is what you get for power. And also at this time, solar panels, they're saying 20 to 23% efficiency. That's one of the things that I think the world is still working hard on, is to try to get more efficiency per square inch or per square millimeter, centimeter, whatever, out of these things, so that you could get more power in a small area. And it is really difficult to do. But let's do this. We'll measure this and then we'll do the math on it and see what it is. It's raining now, and thunder, if you can hear that. It's 0.1 of a watt per square inch, roughly. That's an approximation, because it's actually 0.103 something. It looks like a non-repeating, sort of like a pi, you know, yeah, sort of thing. Yeah. But it's 483 square inches for a 50 watt panel. So if you do the math, yeah, that's what it comes out to. Also, the Vevor, when it's fully laid out, is 89 inches long. So that, just so you know. So yeah, and most windshields that I checked and measured seem to fall in that, you know, 60-inch range to, you know, 65 for a real wide one. You know, they don't seem to hit 89 inches. But like I said, there are some vehicles out there that could. So it's relatively possible. I think the biggest question today was, if you fold one of these panels in like half, like we did, you know, would we get anything out of it at all? Which we did. So I think that's kind of a win, you know. But physical size, that is not going to change that much. I do find the hard panels are better than the soft panels. I'm going to close the door because the rain is so loud coming in here. Okay, the door's closed. Man, it's a little bit quieter in here. Jeez. I know this question is going to come up, so we may as well cut to the chase on it. I took one of my hard panels, measured the size, and then also checked the wattage rating, because that's what we're talking about. Even with this 0.103 thing, that's the rated wattage for like these average panels. The hard panels for me have always produced more power and not quite as... Yeah, that was the real thing. That's why we need solar power in Texas. Power goes off all the time around here. We got quite a storm. Anyway, the hard panel, I calculated my panel and it came up to 0.27 of a, you know, per square inch per watt. That is a lot better than these soft panels, and I have noticed that over time as I've been checking hard panels versus these soft folding panels. You know, the soft folding panels, I've got a 400 watt here outside. It is huge compared to my 400 watt hard panel that I have up on the roof of my barn. So yeah, I knew there was going to be quite a difference, but that was kind of smoked me. Now I do see something on the internet, so I'm going to we'll run right towards it. It says 70 milliwatts per square inch, and I'm going to have to say no, I don't agree. But when I do actual calculations based on the rating for the panel, I'm getting 0.27, which theoretically, yeah, that's what I'm getting. I'm just going to leave it at that and let the arguments fly, because I've always found the internet is pretty, you know, they always tell the truth 100%. You know, yeah. Yeah. So interesting findings today. The problem with the windshield application, I think, is just size. The amount of real estate you have for a panel. It's just, if you're trying to reach 150 watts, good luck with that, because I think you can do it, but you're really going to have to think outside the box even to get there, whatever. Anyway, hey, thanks for watching Coffee Tools. Please like, share, subscribe, ring the notice bell before the power goes off again, and I'm out of here, and over and out.